Can unwavering faith shape the way we heal? I'm a 67-year-old woman from rural China with 28 years of Falun Dafa practice. My journey includes facing persecution, imprisonment, and 2 years of homelessness, followed by a strained family and extraordinary health challenges, 4 strokes and a serious car accident. Through it all, faith, resilience, and family support helped me recover beyond all expectation. This is a personal story about overcoming adversity, mending family bonds, and the quiet strength that carried us forward. I hope it brings encouragement and connection to anyone facing hard times. I am a rural woman, 67 years old, and I have been practicing Falun Dafa for 28 years. I was persecuted by the Chinese Communist Party in 2002 and was homeless for 2 years. I was later arrested and imprisoned for 8 years because I refused to give up my faith in Falun Dafa. The persecution brought great suffering to my family. After I was released, my husband took out all of his frustration and resentment on me. I understood his feelings. I knew that life had been tough for him during the 10 years I was away. I also knew that I needed to help my family understand that it was the CCP's cruelty that had caused our suffering, both emotionally and financially. The real blame should be on the persecution, not on me. After returning home, I tried to do as much work as possible, both on the farm and in the house, so my husband could rest more. To support our family, I also went out to work. I clarified the truth to the people I met at work. Our old house was falling apart at that time, but we had no money, and my husband didn't know how to fix it. 2 fellow practitioners kindly offered to help rebuild it. However, I didn't want to take up their precious time, so I politely declined. In the end, I earned money and repaired the house myself. I even built a few large structures in our vegetable garden. Over time, my husband changed. At first, he didn't understand me, but slowly he supported me. He went from not accepting my practice to encouraging me, even reminding me to send forth righteous thoughts at the global set times. I am deeply grateful for Master's guidance and protection. Here, I want to share some miracles that my husband and I experienced. My husband's amazing recovery from 4 strokes. One afternoon in 2013, just before the Mid-Autumn Festival, my husband showed signs of a stroke. He suddenly lost control of his limbs, collapsed to the floor, and couldn't speak. I quickly helped him up and called our eldest daughter. When she arrived, our relatives worked together to lift him into the car to rush him to the hospital. I knew that strokes often leave severe after effects. My brother-in-law is a good example. He is 10 years younger than my husband. 10 years ago, he had a mild stroke and walked into the hospital by himself, but when he was discharged, his family had to carry him home. More than 10 years later, he was still paralyzed on one side, relying on my sister to care for him. I knew that only Falun Dafa could save my husband. I played recordings of the teachings for him every day. At first, his main consciousness was not clear, and he kept pulling the earphones out. But as I continued to send forth righteous thoughts, he became willing to listen. As he listened more, his recovery was amazingly fast. Within a week, he could walk to the bathroom by himself. Even the doctors were surprised. Most stroke patients stay in the hospital for more than a month, sometimes even longer. But my husband recovered in just 2 weeks. He insisted on being discharged, and the doctors agreed. He had been carried into the hospital, but when he left, he walked out on his own. There were no after effects, and he quickly returned to work. I knew it was Master who had saved him, so I reminded him to recite, "Falun Dafa is good." About a year later, while working a physically demanding job at a factory, my husband suddenly felt unwell. He drove his 3-wheeled electric vehicle home, but once he arrived, he showed signs of another stroke. we rushed him to the hospital again. Like before, he listened to Falun Dafa's teachings and recovered in just 2 weeks. This happened 4 times over 5 years, and each time, under Master's compassionate protection, he fully recovered. It is as if he never had a stroke, with no lingering effects at all. Our relatives and neighbors were amazed. They all saw how Falun Dafa protected my husband. He often recites the 2 phrases, Falun Dafa is good, truthfulness, compassion, forbearance is good. He also loves watching Falun Dafa, truth clarification videos in his free time. Full recovery from a severe car accident in 1 month. I was riding my 3-wheeled electric scooter to the market to talk to people about Falun Dafa one day. Just as I was about to turn and cross the road, I suddenly lost my vision. At that moment, a speeding car crashed into my scooter. My mind went completely blank, but deep inside, I instinctively called out, "Master, please save me." Lup. I was thrown 8 meters away. My scooter was completely destroyed, smashed into 3 pieces. I was in shock and didn't even realize what had happened. I lay on the ground, but I felt no pain at all. The driver was furious and yelled at me. I didn't respond because I was busy looking for my bag. It contained many truth clarification materials, which were the most important to me. Thanks to Master's protection, my bag was right near the wreckage of my scooter. The driver called the traffic police, and they quickly arrived. Seeing the wreckage, they asked who had been hit. When I said it was me, they stared at me in disbelief. I felt completely fine except for a slight numbness in my right leg. They wouldn't have believed it was me if I hadn't spoken up. One of the officers joked that I must have been made of a unique material to survive such a crash. They told me that this area had seen 3 major accidents in the past 2 weeks, and the previous 2 had each resulted in a death. But here I was, completely unharmed. I told them, I practice Falun Dafa, and because Dafa is good, miracles like this happen. An ambulance arrived, and the EMT people asked me to get in. I declined the offer as I felt I was fine. The police then called my family. They insisted I go to the hospital for a checkup. I told them, I practice Falun Dafa, so I don't need to go to the hospital. I'll be fine at home. But my family wouldn't accept that. To prevent them from misunderstanding Dafa, I agreed to go to the hospital with my daughter. After the checkup, I sat in a chair to rest. By this time, 4 to 5 hours had passed since the accident, yet I still felt no pain. I knew Master had borne the suffering for me. But when I tried to stand up, I couldn't. The doctors diagnosed me with a pelvic fracture and said I needed to be hospitalized. I didn't want to stay, but my eldest daughter and son-in-law insisted and admitted me against my will. My second son-in-law visited the next day and immediately said, "Did you forget to recite, Falun Dafa is good?" I knew Master was using his words to remind me, so I continued to recite the Fa and send forth righteous thoughts. I longed to go home. After a week, my 2 daughters had taken turns staying with me. I told them, "You both have been working so hard. It's time for you to rest. Look, I'm fine. Let's go home." They knew Dafa is good, so they agreed. They helped me into a wheelchair and took me home. At home, they told me to rest and warned me not to move too much, as the doctors had said my bones needed time to heal. But I thought, I am a cultivator. I need to do the Falun Dafa exercises. That night, I tried to do the meditation, but as soon as I lifted my leg, the pain was unbearable, so I sat in a looser position and endured the pain. I gradually extended my meditation time each day. Fellow practitioners came to visit and encouraged me to try the standing exercises, even if just 1 set. I understood that Master was using them to encourage me to be diligent, So I tried getting out of bed and doing the first set of exercises. Every movement was extremely difficult, and the pain was almost unbearable, but I persisted. My movements were not perfect, and I sweated heavily after each session. Slowly, I was able to complete all 5 sets of exercises. 1 month later, I had completely recovered. My daughter took me back to the hospital for a follow-up X-ray. When the results were in, the doctor excitedly told her, "Your mother's bones are amazing. The fracture has healed perfectly." Most people don't have bones this strong. Even young people don't have such good bone density. Hearing this, my daughters knew it was Dafa that had saved me. They became even more supportive of my practice. My husband and I have personally experienced the extraordinarily powerful nature of Falun Dafa. If you'd like to learn more about Falun Gong, Falun Dafa, and the persecution it faces in China, please explore the trusted links and resources in the description below. Your subscription, likes, and shares help amplify these stories and keep important voices heard. Thank you for supporting thoughtful storytelling and our community.